Paris lockdown, day 6, and today I went to the market. That's the only chance that I get to go out these days. I wanted to buy some fruit, and it's surprising because the supermarkets are full and a lot of the shelves are empty. However, the market, there was almost nobody there. I think people are staying away because they fear the close proximity, but actually that wasn't the case. There weren't many people there, and the traders weren't doing a lot of selling. Things were cheap, they were giving things away. And while I was there, one guy said to me, "Hey, you want this?" I said, "What is it?" He says, "It's a daikon." I said, "Oh, daikon. Oh, I know daikon. They serve it in Japanese restaurants." He goes, "Yeah, give me €1. It's very delicious." I thought, okay. So I gave him €1. And then he said, "You can have another one free." So and each one that weighs about a kilo. 2 kilos. That weighs about 2 kilos. So 4 kilos of daikon. Normally I would say no, even if it was for free. But these days I'm thinking, oh, I might not be able to get out of the house again, so maybe I should stock up. I'm entering this mentality now. Not good. Anyway, I've got like 4 kilos of daikon, also called white radish. If you have any recipes for white radish, please post them in the comments. I also got my first I've got my glasses. Hold on, I'm getting my glasses. There you are. Now, yesterday I got my first criticism. In the comments section, somebody wrote, I won't say the name, here in Italy, coronavirus is killing people. Yesterday there were 400 victims. No place in the cemeteries, 13 physicians died, and the families can't even go to the funerals. No, I'm not interested in learning English right now. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to trivialize this matter. It's very, very serious indeed. I do realize that. However, I think there are 2 ways of approaching this. Either you can look out the window, waiting for the virus to hit you, waiting to die, or you can carry on. You can carry on learning, carry on living, carry on dreaming, and that's what I think you should do. And yes, carry on laughing. There's an English expression, gallows humour, and gallows is the place where you go up to be hanged. And gallows humour means that you laugh in the face of difficult situations, and I think that's fine. We need to confront this catastrophe with a smile on our face. Yesterday I asked, what are you doing in lockdown? What are you doing if you are in lockdown? And I got some very interesting answers to that. Jana Black says, I'm reading while I'm in lockdown. I prefer reading than chatting nonsense. Okay, fair enough. Rosita Pagliarini. Teacher, I love music and I'm a singer, but with no audience. I sing alone while cleaning the house or cooking, chatting with family, and of course, learning English. Great. Anna Tabanet says that she's ironing clothes, reading, listening to videos about psychology, which are optimistic, and studying English and talking to relatives, and having more sleep in the morning. Yes, good idea. Get more sleep. Barsi, I don't know if that's male or female, also Italian. Lots of Italians writing in. That's great. I say she's female. 4 years ago she had a tumour. She's recovered from that, but she realised that life is too short to spend it only going to work. So she reads a lot, writes a lot, learns English, cooks delicious foods, and cleans the apartment and creates decoration with a sewing machine. And the forest behind the place where I live helps me to relax. That's great. It's great if you've got a forest behind your house. Maurizio Doia, hello from Italy. 10th day or so of quarantine. Not easy, but wife, wine and beer can help. Javi Fontalva, hello Javi, says, I am learning stuff and teaching people online. That's great. Okay, so your grammar vocabulary questions answered right now. UN Owen has a lot of questions, but the one I'm going to look at today is the difference between different from and different to, and I'm going to add different than to that as well, because there is a difference between British and American English. When I was at school, they told me different to is the correct form. Different from is not correct. That's not so. In British English, different to is probably the most common, but different from is acceptable. And I did some research. Even Shakespeare used different from. I'll read you the quote from the Comedy of Errors. This week he hath been heavy, sour, sad, and much different from the man he was. So if it's good enough for Shakespeare, it's good enough for me. Different than, I don't think we use that in British English. I think that's more an American term. I think the Americans use different than and different from. I don't think they use different to. Maybe the Americans out there can confirm that in the comments. Thank you. Ross on Mars, also from Italy. The correct use of ain't. Okay, ain't is a non-standard way of speaking. When you're speaking formally, you won't use ain't. However, in informal, very informal speech, maybe slang speech, and also maybe you'll hear it in songs and things like that, you might hear ain't. And ain't is the negative of the verb to be and the verb to have. So I am not, is not, are not, has not, have not can all be used as ain't. So for example, Ross on Mars gives some examples here. I ain't got time, I ain't got money. And in fact, usually ain't is used with a double negative. So you could say I ain't got no time, I ain't got no money, I ain't got no daikon. That's not true, got lots of daikon. You also have the verb to be as well. I ain't Bob, I'm Gideon. Okay. Domenico Natale, perhaps also Italian, wants to know the difference between near and close. That's a good question. Now, for proximity, you could use both. Okay, I live near the station, I live close to the station. However, in other cases, when you're speaking metaphorically, you should use close when you mean emotionally close. So you should talk about a close friend, close family. I was very close to this person. In terms of time, you use near, the near future. I'll see you in the near future. Also, there are some expressions where you use close and not near, and vice versa. Someone threw a brick at me, and it was very close to my head, but it was a near miss. A near miss is an expression, okay? And there's also the adverb where you use nearly to mean almost. I became sick and I nearly died, okay? I nearly got hit by the car. You can't use closely there. Pasquale Napolitano, maybe another Italian. What's the difference between whatever and whatsoever? Well, in modern English, they are very different words. Whatever means it doesn't matter what. It's not important what. You can do whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you need, okay? But whatsoever is a more emphatic way of saying not at all, okay? Or at all. I have no doubt whatsoever that we will get through this crisis together. I didn't understand what you said whatsoever, Okay, I didn't understand what you said at all. Okay, so it's more emphatic. Next question. Reggie Varghese. Hi Gideon. Most Americans say I don't know nothing or I haven't done nothing. Shouldn't it be anything? Well, it's not just Americans. British people would use it too, maybe colloquially or in slang English. Certainly hear it a lot in London using double negatives. I don't know nothing. I haven't done nothing. Okay, of course, a double negative means it's an affirmative. I don't know nothing means I know something. So I would discourage it in... I'm a bit old school here, but I would discourage it in formal speech and in writing, certainly. But you will hear it from time to time. Okay, well, I'm going to go now and cook myself some daikon. So carry on sending me your grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation questions, and I'll answer them very soon. Thank you. Stay healthy.